Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to Let's Play Nier Automata. We are picking up where we left off with Marx. Marx is back with a vengeance. This time, there are two buzzsaws. This is still not our target, even though we're not quite sure what our target exactly is. We just know what it isn't. We can spam dodge through that, but I'm pretty sure if we keep shooting and busting up the buzzsaws, we'll eventually find that answer. We'll get one step closer to that. Once we get this to, I think it's pretty close to about half health, we should be moving on from this. We just have to deal with different configurations, different movement patterns of the buzzsaws, and looks like we are done with this part.
Is that?
Target enemy detected.
This entire sea platform, turns out it's a Goliath-class mech. And that mech's name is, oh god, yes. Oh, it's so good. This mech's name is Marx's buddy Engels. Oh shit, it's Engels the Goliath. Is there a reason for this naming convention? Maybe. But we should probably get past the prologue before we start talking about the thematic implications of why bosses are named what they are named. Oh, dude, even with the, even when you can't launch it, you still get that high time fly up in the air or do an air combo. Whoops. Lock on is kind of weird here. Sometimes it works a little bit better. To not use the lock-on when you're trying to aim at the head, except for when you're firing the laser. It's a little bit finicky how that goes with him.
To me! What's your status?
This is the target. I'm going to destroy.
Right. I'll provide support.
I love 9S's reaction there. Like, okay. That's how blunt 2B is. So we're not assuming control of 9S and his flight suit.
Proposal. Evade.
But Engels is going to change things up just a little bit here. Plus we get the assistance now of 9S. And everything that he does is really, really heavily telegraphed. You'll notice that the big tell from most enemies, most of the time, is that their eyes will flash red right before they attack. It's a very Revengeance-style tell. Except made much more obvious. Like, you have a lot more wiggle room. A lot more time to react. I think this is the last chance he should get to do that. There's a possibility, I don't know if this is the case, but I'm assuming that if you take too long, he might just destroy this section of the bridge, and he could game over you if that happens. I don't know, I've never taken that long to do this.
Boost!
9S!
S black box signal detected. No response to communications.
I'm going.
Oh, that poor exoskeleton.
Send a support request to command.
Negative. Communications have been jammed.
Poor exoskeleton. Guess 9S is probably in trouble too. With this platforming up the Goliath boss like some Shadow of the Colossus monster. We occasionally get some of the little wind-up toy robots. They're so cute. To fight on our way up. This music. Hey, we're at the top.
9S.
So he looks a little rough. And we just have a couple of these. Some of them have the armored plating, which again we can easily remove with just 1 or 2 melee attacks. We see a couple of these coming in. Aw, you're the only thing that's hit me so far. I just got whacked a little bit by your little mosh windmill.
I have to help 9S. I have to repair him. Pod, get me staunching gel and logic virus vaccines. Then access the—
Inadvisable. The subject's vital signs are too poor to attempt field repair in
Shut up!
current...
Just do what I say!
2B. Just go.
You shut up too.
We're soldiers. We take pride in our service.
HO-229 Flight Unit. Command 677 received. Usage rights transferred from 9S to 2B. Requesting acknowledgement.
Please.
All right.
Yay! No need to worry, the flight unit was okay all along. And now we get this very big change to the fight. Actually reminds me of towards the end of Wonderful 101. The way that fight works. It's a little less janky though. Since really you don't have like a backwards and forwards axis. Sort of. You can circle strafe him, but you can't actually get near him.
I didn't know the machines had that kind of intelligence.
I found a weakness in the target. Hacking in to provide support. The control on the enemy's upper arm. Use your pod. Should be able to take it over.
I told you to shut up!
So it's easiest to get behind him when you see him winding up one of his fists. They're kind of off to his shoulder. Make sure that you don't get tagged by it.
Control of upper arm. Seized from enemy unit. Marking weak point. Got it.
So at this point we just have to navigate a little gauntlet of projectiles. We can destroy them with our bullets, remember, and dodge a laser to get close.
Infiltrating enemy subunit. Behavior table adjusted. Balance controls overridden. Enemy unit subjugation complete.
Yeah! Hell yeah! Somebody thought this is a lot of health for this thing to still have left. But while you're hitting yourself, yeah! Uppercut it with its own arm. Fuck yeah.
Just die already!
Talk about bringing the battle to them. Ought to be.
Contact command. Request assistance.
No. It doesn't look like that's going to be necessary.
Oh, great.
I don't imagine that this is going to end well. The black box. It's ready.
Right.
Requesting destruction of enemy hostiles via black box reaction.
Request accepted.
Doobie, it was an honor to fight with you. Truly.
The honor was mine.
So, this is not a flashback. We're just on the moon now. And that's a reality that we will, for the time being, just kind of have to live with. And since it told us that saving is finally available, let's go ahead and do that before we move on. Everything got really desaturated all of a sudden, huh?
So, mission complete and all that, huh? The Goliaths were wiped out, and we secured a route into enemy territory. Now we can...
9S.
Yeah?
Thank you for uploading my data to the bunker.
I did that? Sorry, I don't remember. There wasn't a whole lot of bandwidth down there, you know? I probably only had enough time to back up your memories. Mine are only intact up to the point just before we rendezvoused.
I see.
Glory to mankind.
Glory to mankind.
So they have black boxes, which can trigger some sort of widespread catastrophic explosion. And being androids, their bodies are nearly expendable, as long as they can upload their consciousness back up to the home base on the moon up here. That's all pretty straightforward, I feel, aside from the fact that we now have a moon base, but... oh, we will get to that. And that OS that we've been seeing is for that black box. Before we get to this next exposition dump, I thought it would be a good idea to cut in here and post and offer up what is the quickest rundown I can give of how we got here. So in Ending E of Drakengard, there is a giant who is the antagonist of that game. It winds up in modern-day Tokyo in 2003. It dies, and its corpse eventually decays into particles called maso, which causes a disease in humanity called white chlorination syndrome. Among other things, and we will get into the other crazy-ass part of this disease, but for our purposes, what it does is it can result in you being turned into salt. Like, remember in the beginning of Nier how you think that it's snowing? That's all salt from the white chlorination syndrome, and it's an extinction-level epidemic. The solution that humanity comes up with to avoid extinction is called Project Gestalt. Basically, people found a way to separate their souls or gestalts from their bodies and create android replicant bodies that could later be reunited after white chlorination syndrome was no longer a threat. Gestalt, by the way, is a German word meaning form or shape, and it is the basis for a study of human perception and consciousness that makes up Gestalt psychology. But no time for that. Nier, the first game, not the character, is all about the fallout of Project Gestalt way in the future. Basically, the souls or gestalts existing outside of their bodies became shades after a while, which you first think are just mindless monsters. Then you hit the second playthrough of Nier and you can start understanding what they're saying. And whoops, they're people, basically. Well, that's kind of a presupposition. Nier, at its core, is kind of actually about what makes a person in the nature of self-awareness and all sorts of fun little existential ponderings. Anyway, the gestalts turn into shades because it's been so long since they've been separated from their bodies. And the replicant bodies, whoops, accidentally became self-aware. And that means they can no longer fuse with the corresponding gestalts. They kind of develop their own souls. So humanity, as we know it, was wiped out, but gestalts and replicants remained. That's the lead up to and the basic synopsis of Nier. That matters because what's coming up is what happened between now and then. You don't strictly need to know anything that I just told you to understand Automata, but the context that knowing about Nier lends to this exposition dump is really huge. And it's gonna get pretty fucking nuts, so hold on.
5012 AD. The year mankind's glorious history came to a sudden and abrupt end, when the world was invaded by aliens from beyond the stars. The aliens unleashed a new breed of weapon, machine life forms, that all but annihilated human civilization. The handful of survivors that remained fled from Earth, seeking refuge on the moon. 5204 AD. Humanity launched its counterattack, deploying an army of androids from a network of orbiting bases. But after more than a dozen large-scale descents upon the enemy, we still haven't managed to repel the invaders. That is why you, the Yorha forces, exist. To break this stalemate, once and for all. You are our ultimate weapon, and you must put an end to this war.
Understood, sir.
I wish you good hunting.
Glory to mankind! Glory to mankind!
Glory to mankind.
Glory to mankind. That's kind of a lot, and it's very wild. 9S is now going to kind of break the fourth wall a little bit and help us calibrate some settings. It's mostly volume and brightness and stuff. So while he does that, I'm going to talk over him for just a minute. We are in the year 11,945 AD. The dragons exploding into Tokyo from Drakengard ending E was 2003. Their deaths were the start of the white chlorination syndrome disease. Nier takes place a little bit over 12 or 1300 years later and deals with the fallout of that. Then we get to the aliens, the machines, the androids, and the first war with the machines, which was in the 5200s. It's been going on since then. The descents that they mentioned were full-blown wars.
Are you there? Can you hear me?
14 of them.
Hello?
At
Go ahead and
stalemates.
adjust your settings so you can hear me, alright?
over several millennia. Yorha is supposed to be the solution to that. It's a bonkers-ass plot.
Thank you.
The nitty-gritty has a lot of
That takes care
soul,
of the
though, and
sentence.
asks some lofty questions
Hold
about
on.
that soul and the nature of existence.
Wait a sec.
But for
I need to
episode
restore
2,
those.
this is already pretty dense, so we're gonna leave
I
it
could
there.
set it for you, but you should probably do it yourself.
And he's now
Regulations and
talking
all,
to
you
us
know?
about self-destruct settings.
Huh? Wait, no. You need to leave that turned on. Yeah, you can't really do that. It needs to be turned on except in very specific cases. I'm afraid I can't leave this as is, ma'am. Please give your... Hey, come on now. I'm just trying to follow regulations here. Hey, come on now. I'm just... Okay, good. If things go wrong during an op, you may have to sacrifice yourself in order to finish it. So, once you're finished making adjustments, you can go ahead and close this out.
So he leaves us after that. The setup to just telling us about the self-destruct leaves us to our own devices mainly.
Morning.
Nina.
The commander's put me in charge of your maintenance, ma'am. That means I'll be performing regular checks on you from now on.
I see.
Oh, don't worry. We 9S models are the best around, you know. Though I suppose we're not exactly known for our modesty.
9S.
What is it, ma'am?
Stop calling me ma'am.
Huh?
There's no need to be so formal.
Alright. If you say so. Oh, I almost forgot. The commander was calling for you. We better go see what's up, man. 2B.
So we can now wander around the moon base, we can save whenever we want up here, we can take a break in the bed, we can also interact in an interesting way with 9S. We can adjust how he behaves in the midst of combat. I'm going to set him to aggressive for the time being. And he has no further dialogue for us at the moment. We can come over here to the console. And it turns out this is an item shop. We'll play with that in just a second, but we got a big exposition dump just now, so I'm going to save. And I better test to make sure that the self-destruct's working properly. Wouldn't want that to fail inspection. And it looks like we're good. It looks like that actually works pretty well. By self-destructing the bunker, the entire structure ended up exploding in a spectacular fashion, but hey, sure did look pretty from Earth. Somewhere in the depths of space, the commander still floats about with a stern look on her face. Oh, that was another ending. That was ending you debunked.
You need to be near an access point to save your data. You can see access points on the close-range map. Be sure to save often.
And it respawns us back here when we hit continue and set back in 2B's room. Now in close-ups, this is more obvious, and I mention this because we saw her eyes for the first time recently. 2B's blindfold that she normally wears is cocked to one side, which is an homage to Nier's eye patch in Nier. I think Papa Nier specifically. I'm not 100% sure if young Nier also has it. That distinction, by the way, comes from the two versions of Nier, which were Nier Gestalt and Nier Replica. Or sorry, Nier Replicant. One of them featured an older Nier as a father character to another character named Yona, and the other was younger, and I think it was her brother. But Papa Nier is best Nier. As for the function of the blindfold, beyond being an aesthetic, like, character design choice, in-game, I think they're explained as tactical visors that are built into them. There's also an ulterior thematic function, I believe. You know how they say the eyes are the windows to the soul? Well, remember, emotions are prohibited. So thematically, I think it's supposed to serve as like an emotional blinder.
A2B. Maintenance finished?
Yes, Commander.
You detonated your black box in order to defeat the enemy. Bold, but risky. Try not to be so reckless next time.
Understood.
I know you're fresh out of maintenance, but I have another mission for you. I need you to head to the surface, rendezvous with the Resistance, and do some recon.
Doesn't Yorha have a dedicated Resistance contact already?
We haven't been able to get in touch with them, so we'll need you to look into that as well.
Understood.
So straight to the point. We have another mission. We have to make contact with a Resistance camp back on Earth.
I'll prepare a schematic.
Also, the Council of Humanity. Very few people are privileged with speaking with this council. So humanity went extinct, the events of Nier happened, blah blah blah.
That means we'll be getting flight units, huh? Better head for the hangar. Usually we can't get near flight units. They're way too expensive for us grunts. Too bad they can't mass produce these things yet.
Ah, that's a good little detail. So resources are somewhat limited, even though we have all this far future tech that's in some ways indistinguishable from magic. And that is because a lot of this tech is at least partially based on magic. There was indeed magic in Nier.
The hangar's up ahead. Let's go.
And that's because of the crossover with Drakengard. Drakengard, there was like magic leaking out of the God, I can't remember the name of the world, the Drakengard dimension, into what we would know as the real world, into modern day Tokyo, and then everything with Kaim and what's his name and the dragon. Ooh, and different units we're learning have different functions.
A2B, why do you think they sent a combat model like you to a recon job? If all they want is intel, we scanner models are built for that kind of thing.
Orders are orders.
Alright, alright.
So we have another one of these segments leading into the next mission, which is becoming a bit of a theme now.
2B, you're going to have some new weaponry installed from here on out. I'll put up instructions for you. Make sure to commit them to memory.
Roger.
Oh, yeah. So we're introduced to one of our first flight mode weapon upgrades, which is the missile barrage. This is like, now that we have this actual proper 3D background and not just a haze of clouds and stuff, this seems even more like a shmup, and I welcome that, man. Like, I love the bullet hell elements of Nier, and now that there's like a proper-ass shmup sequence to go along with it. Oh, it's so good. I don't get enough shmups nowadays. Whoops. God, what was the last really good shmup that I played? Like, the last recent release? Might have been Cinemora. Like, I know shmups have come out, but a lot of them are re-releases, and a lot of them are not good. And a lot of them are Toho. Oh boy, there are so many Toho shmups.
Bunker to 2B, come in. I've set a landing point for your flight units. You'll be touching down quite a ways from the Resistance camp, unfortunately. Sorry for the trouble, but we can't risk the enemy discovering their position. Understood. Good luck down there.
It's also really impressive the way things rotate and the way they're just generally rendered. The camera angles are pretty fun here. So now that we've landed, I think that's gonna do it for now. We got a big exposition dump that happened this episode. So thanks for watching, everyone. Don't forget to do the like, comment, subscribe stuff. Helps me out. And it's always fun reading the comments and chatting with you guys. So thanks for watching, everyone. Take it easy. Have a good one.